Now you're live.
Now we're live. Hi, everybody. It's Leticia and Jen, and we are snowed in. Yeah, thank you for those of you who uh, are joining us. I don't know if, that's 0 people. Well, that's good, Jen. You and I can
Called each other
entertain
on the
each other.
phone.
We could have called each other on the phone. Well, we'll wait a few minutes because some people were expecting us at 3 o'clock and we weren't there at 3 o'clock. And so now we're here now. And hopefully they'll join us soon. But we are snowed in Staten Island. And in case any of you are new to this kind of format, Jen and I were on the phone and we said, well, as we were talking about events of the day. And we said, well, why don't we do a Facebook Live? So here we are. And the reason that we were late was, Jen, tell them why we were late.
Because we're both stupid. We don't know how to use technology. It took a half hour just to figure out how to get on here. And,
yes, indeed. I don't understand.
And I had to put on pants.
1,000-pound sisters do it, and they're in a place with no internet service, and they have a successful YouTube channel, and we couldn't even sign on to the internet. But anyway, we're here. So we're here, and what?
We're here alone.
We're here alone. Well, we're here with 10 people. So in the comment section under Facebook, if you write a comment, then we can answer you. We can't see you, but we can answer your comment in the bottom. So, write a comment, write a comment here. I'm going to do that now so that you can all see it. And Jen, you can see it too. Oh, there we go. Connie's here. How are you, Connie? And Lucille Chavone is here. Hi, Lucille. We're back. The crazy thing is on this platform, left is right and right is left. So if you see lights in my eyes, it's not because I'm in love or somebody hit me over the head. It's because I don't know which direction to point or where to look. But anyway, if you're snowed in, let me know. Has your street been plowed? And if not, we should write Mayor Adams right away. And if you're not snowed in and you had to go to work, let's tell us how your commute was this morning. So Jennifer's trying to hide the fact that she still has her Christmas tree up. I see her moving
the bush.
When do you guys take your Christmas tree down? Three Kings Day was yesterday, and that's generally today is the day that we take our Christmas tree down. So let us know when you take your Christmas tree down.
You take it down?
So when you take it, are you taking it down, Jen, or just turning it off?
No, it's staying. I don't feel like taking it off. I'm taking it down. It's gonna stay. I'll put something on it besides the Christmas balls.
So Jennifer, let's talk about the new district attorney of Manhattan, Mr.
Oh,
Gray.
Yes. What a shame that Thomas Kenniff didn't get in. This man is the Antichrist. He's actually probably worse than de Blasio. He made it known that he will not be prosecuting people with, I think, what did he say, guns? Because his father got in trouble with one. And that's his stance on that?
Well, he said he's not going to prosecute any crime unless there's a felony accompanying it. So, in other words, if you're caught with an illegal gun, he's not going to prosecute it unless you use that gun in the commission of a felony charge, or you get charged with the police bring you in on a felony. But I mean, there's a ton of low-level crimes that need to be prosecuted by the district attorney. And this DA basically just said, you know what, cops, go out there and arrest people that are doing the wrong thing. But it's all going to be for nothing unless you do it exactly how I want to do it. And the reason that he's not prosecuting illegal guns is he said that when he was a kid, his father couldn't get a gun permit. So he had an illegal gun in the house. And so therefore,
well, you really can't get caught with a gun unless you have it on you and you're going to go do something.
Well, I mean, listen, I guess that's usually the case, but we heard that the police commissioner said that she's going to go back to the broken windows policy, and so that also maybe if you're suspected of something, they might find a illegal gun on you. But he doesn't want to hear about that. He doesn't want to hear about anything that's not accompanied by a felony. So Lucy Calfano says New York City back to the 70s. We New Yorkers are doomed. She's absolutely right. I want to say hi to Kevin Hartnett. Hi, Kevin.
It's actually worse in the 70s because now drugs are legal. Marijuana is legal.
Yeah.
So
what were you talking about with the shooting galleries before?
Oh, that I can't go eat in a restaurant in the city, but if I wanted to go shoot up in a shooting gallery in the city, they'll let me in because I don't need a vaccination card.
Oh yeah, they're not checking vaccines. You would think.
Well, I don't think that if you're an addict, the first thing on your agenda is to go get vaccinated.
I agree. Well, if you want to go out and eat, the first thing is on your agenda isn't to get vaccinated either. But I mean, isn't it a little counterintuitive? I mean, these are people that are used to shoving needles in their arms. You would think that they would take the vaccine.
Listen, everybody, they let me all have it on TikTok because I said that they were able to go do recreational drugs and I can't go to a restaurant. And, people said I'm not sympathetic and they're addicts. But I said, you have to show a vaccine card when you walk into a liquor store. They're making this easier for and enabling people to feed their addiction. So, and they should make it harder then at least make sure if they care about their health and their well-being and the vaccination is the thing that's so great, then they should make sure that they're vaccinated before they go in and do that.
Well, look, we all know that this whole vaccine thing is just upside down because yesterday Mayo Clinic fired 700 employees during a pandemic, and we have a healthcare worker shortage, a healthcare worker crisis in this nation right now because they're all being fired. So the Mayo Clinic, in its infinite wisdom, said that we're going to fire 700 people because we want to keep our patients safe. Now, I don't know. Let's just get this clear. If you get the vaccine, can you get COVID, Jen?
Yes.
Oh, if you're not vaccinated, can you get COVID?
Yes.
If you have the vaccine, can you spread COVID?
Yeah.
If you don't have the vaccine, can you spread COVID?
Yep.
So if you get the vaccine, who does it protect?
Nobody.
Well, yourself, I think, right?
Well, that's what they said.
Supposedly, it makes the symptoms.
If it worked.
Well, supposedly, if you're vaccinated and you catch COVID, you're not going to wind up in the hospital, right? That's what they're telling us.
Well, I know 2 people who died that got COVID and had the vaccination. So
Wow.
no, it doesn't work. It's listen, I got COVID. I'm not vaccinated. Jimmy's vaccinated, fully vaccinated, got COVID, felt like crap for a week, thought he was going to die. And you know what? He went to go get the drip, the mitochondrial drip.
Yeah.
And he was in the hospital waiting for, I think, 14 hours because there's no staff.
Right. Well, about Kevin's asking back to the DA, and we'll get back to the DA because we digressed over to the vaccine, which that's ridiculous. How can he make decisions on what to prosecute? Well, that's the whole thing, Kevin. And I'm going to just do a lesson in a compressed few minutes. The district attorney can decide what to prosecute and who to prosecute, and they can decide if their case is strong enough. So how it works is that the police do their job, they arrest people, they build a case, and then they give that case to the district attorney. And then based on the evidence, and the district attorney makes a decision whether he or she will prosecute or take a plea deal because the case is either weak or strong. So the district attorney does have the leverage to decide what to prosecute. But back in 2017, I think it was, there was an all-out effort by many different groups, human rights groups, that were funded heavily by George Soros. And I get in trouble all the time for talking about Soros, but I don't care because it's the truth. And the Vera Project was one in New York. And their goal was to have, quote unquote, bail reform. The other goal was to elect district attorneys who would not prosecute, who would be a little softer on crime. And we got all across the country, the Soros district attorney candidates won. And we have Bragg, we have the one, Jen, who's the guy in California? I forget his name.
The district
Uh,
attorney.
yeah,
Just hold.
of Los Angeles, who's not prosecuting anything. But anyway, county by county across the United States, these district attorneys were voted in, backed by money from George Soros, and the whole goal was to be less tough on crime. So why? I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. The only thing I could think of is this is a movement to undermine the culture of America, or it could be to lower. This is something I always thought, because I always say follow the money. It could be to lower property values in big cities so that you could later come in and buy up all the property like Google did. I think they paid $1 billion for a city block in Midtown. So that's, that when you elect a district attorney, you give that district attorney the right to decide what's prosecuted and what's not prosecuted. But it works at odds with the police. And I can't imagine, and Jen, because you have many police officer friends, as do I, but you're close with your boyfriend's a police officer. Why do the job if the criminal's going to turn around and get released?
Listen, how many times in Staten Island was someone robbed a bank, and then within 24 hours after they were released, they robbed it again? Same with the Dollar Tree. The guy robbed. Well, I mean, he didn't get caught the first time, but then he went back in and robbed them again, and he got caught, and took his gun out. And why, if you get a slap in the wrist, why not just go rob places? And what does it matter? Doesn't matter.
Criminals are smart, right? They're gonna congregate in places where the district attorneys are soft on crime, because they know that if they're not going to get a prosecution out of it, the police are not going to put their lives in jeopardy, to go after low-level crimes. But again, here's where the dysfunction comes in. We have a brand new mayor who was a police officer. He appointed a new police commissioner who says she is going to incorporate the broken windows policy, which is, I'm going to have the police arrest people for the lower level crimes to stop the felony crimes from occurring. And it worked really great under Giuliani. And so that's great. We all applauded that. And now the Manhattan DA says, yeah, but I'm not going to prosecute them. Thankfully, on Staten Island, District Attorney Mike McMahon, he's a great district attorney, a longtime friend. He has been tough on crime, continues to be tough on crime, and is following the law. And so we're fortunate. But people in Manhattan voted differently. And Jen, you know the guy that was running for DA.
Yeah. No, I mean, amazing. He's an amazing lawyer, and it's unfortunate what happened. You would think that Manhattan would have woken up and we're tired of this, because Manhattan's falling down the tubes too. And they didn't. They voted him in. Unfortunately, it was probably just because it was the mayoral race, so they went down.
Straight Democrat line in Manhattan. Yeah, that's definitely it. I just want to take a minute. Lucille had COVID and the flu, so she had Flovid last week. I'm sorry, Lucille. I hope you're feeling better. It's insanity now that we have COVID and the flu together. It's the new name for that is Flovid. And Lisa Marie Reagan Monaco joined us. Hi, Lisa Marie. How are you? Okay, so I guess my question to our viewers is, do you go out and vote in the district attorney's race? Because the lowest voter turnout in New York City politics is for the district attorney's race. So, are you going out there every 4 years to vote for your district attorney? And if you're not, why? I understand that most people are law-abiding citizens, so they don't think they're going to ever get in trouble. So they don't recognize how the DA actually affects their life. But if you don't have a common sense district attorney like Mike McMahon in your county, you're going to wind up in the Wild West and anything
We already
goes.
are.
Well, I just wonder how long it's going to take until it comes over here, Jen. I mean, Manhattan is only a free ferry ride away. But McMahon, if he keeps on talking and telegraphing that he's going to prosecute the low level crimes and work with the police commissioner, I think that should provide a little protection for Staten Island. No.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not bad here yet, at all. It really, I don't think it is. But we're an oasis. It's the forgotten borough, and it's actually a good thing that people forget about us because I don't want them remembering.
What's scary is that I know, at least 50, 60 people that have moved off of Staten Island from last year to this year because of the way things are going.
Yeah, well, the city all in general, but hopefully we'll secede and it'll be completely different.
Yeah, well, Senator Andy Lanza is getting ready. He's been talking about us seceding, and I believe that he's going to be able to pull it off. Um, there's just no choice for us because we're so different than the rest of the boroughs. And it's clear that even though we have 5 Republicans elected and 2 Democrats that are caucusing with the Republicans, and our own Joe Borelli is now the minority leader, which is fantastic. It's a 51 member city council. So, we still have 44 Democrats that are in there. So I think that secession is really our only hope if we're going to save Staten Island. All of you who are listening and you agree that secession is the way to go, give a ring to Senator Lanza's office, tell him you're 100% behind him, ask him what we can do to help him, because I think that's what we need to do. So, Marianne, I don't want to massacre your name, Marianne Guerci, is all for secession, and I'm glad for that. Kevin says secession will never happen. The numbers on what our taxes would be. They've been talking about it, but never any numbers.
It's been like 25 years we've been talking about it. It's like the Gowanus construction.
Well, but no, listen, the last time Markey put out a bill and Silver put a home rule on it to stop it. That's like asking, the batterer to give permission for the battered to leave their world. It's crazy. Dan Calamari says secession is the best thing that can happen to Staten Island. I agree that it is necessary. I wish it wasn't, but we have no balance, Dan. So, we are so different from the rest of the city. So I agree with you that we have to do that. Fidelia says that the Bronx is with me. I know it may seem hard to believe, but the Bronx want freedom first. Fidelia, I know that's true because the Bronx and Staten Island have kismet. We really should be voting together too. I keep saying to my Republican colleagues, we have to focus on the Bronx because the Bronx, there's a lot of homeowners in the Bronx. There are a lot of Hispanic voters in the Bronx and they're generally Catholic. So they're more conservative. The Bronx is being kicked in the teeth every single day, just like Staten Island. So I remember a day when Guy Villela, who was a senator in the Bronx, and he was the leader of the Republican Party out there, and that party was really, really strong. Now it's Mike Rendino, and he's a great guy, and I talk to him often. But really, Fidelia, you have to get your people together. Call Mike Rendino. They have a brand new county headquarters. Get active in the Bronx. I'm going to get active in the Bronx. We have Tina Forte running against AOC. Bronx is the home of the seat, the notorious seat that belongs to AOC. We need to make sure that we kick her out of office because I don't know what you think, Jen, but I think 2022 is not going to be just a Republican wave. I think it's going to be a tsunami.
Well, yeah, everybody, including Democrats, are sick of what's going on. It's really a sad thing. And even with Eric Adams in office, for the Democrats, I'm hoping that he pulls through at least and cleans up some of the mess that their people left us. Their
Yeah.
people talking about you know who, De Blasio.
Yeah, you know who. Say his name loud
You
and proud because
De
he thinks he
Blasio,
wants to run for governor. De Blasio, the worst mayor ever.
the worst mayor, delusional, very delusional. I mean, presidential run, 8 people show up to your rally, you keep running. It stole the pot. It has to be.
Well, Kevin Hartnett says that if we secede, our property taxes are going to skyrocket. So, Kevin, let me just, can I prove you wrong? Well, I can say to you that right now the city of New York is using Staten Island as a cash cow. We right now pay a disproportionate share of property taxes, and what we get back is minuscule. So we have some of the highest property taxes in the nation, but we definitely pay per capita more property taxes than our Bronx and Park Slope and and our Manhattan counterparts. After us, the Bronx is the next disproportionate, the next highest. So here's my question to you: that you're paying these high property taxes. You have no say in if they go up. They've been going up every year since Bloomberg, and we have no say to stop them from going up because every year the city council wants to spend more. This is how your property taxes go up, by the way. When the city council approves a bloated budget that doesn't have enough money coming in from other sources, other tax streams to cover, then we have to have our property taxes have to increase. And that's been going on and on and on. And we just had a property tax commission, and they've done nothing to give us equity. But even if they did, Kevin, even if they did, it will always be up to the city council about the spending that causes our taxes to go up. Wouldn't you prefer a property tax where you get your money back in services, and a city council, a local city council that's accountable for the property taxes, than having to be hooked up into Manhattan and Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn and have that disparity with those city council members who, by the way, what's different about Staten Island and Bronx compared to the other boroughs is we have a lot of home ownership. And that's why we get clobbered the way we get clobbered. So we need to be represented properly. So, Kevin, can I prove that our taxes won't go up? No. Can I prove that our taxes will be spent right here delivering services? 100%. So thank you for indulging me, everybody. I hope that was a a good lesson on the property tax situation. So, Jennifer, what else?
What else? What else did we say we were going to talk about? Oh, well, we were talking about the vaccine, and I'm sure that we'll just swing right back. Ugh, I can't talk today. Right back around.
You can't talk. You can't drive. You can't get on the internet. We're having a day. It's the Friday snow day, but we're having a day. Yeah. What else did we say? The vaccine. I think that yesterday you had a Facebook. You did a TikTok, and you talked about what is it? The fable, the Emperor's new
Emperor's
clothes.
clothes. Yes. Well, yeah. We were talking.
Explain it.
About the whole story behind that, and how everybody, like when I go into the office, people that are fully vaccinated with their mask on they don't want to go near the unvaccinated, and I keep saying to them it makes absolutely no sense, because if you're fully vaccinated and it's so effective and your mask is so effective, then what I do, or what anyone around you that's not vaccinated, what does it matter? It makes absolutely no sense. It's like the chickenpox vaccine. If you have the chickenpox vaccine and it works, and you go around someone with the chicken pox, you shouldn't have to worry, because that's what the vaccine is for. But we're still lepers. And like you were talking about yesterday, like the emperor's new clothes, when the designers went up to the emperor and said, we have these great clothes for you to wear, and put it on, and went to the town, and there was really no clothes, but everyone in the town who didn't see anything convinced themselves that they must be wrong, and they all needed his clothes and his great suit and his great shoes and this and that.
Because they didn't want, they did it because they didn't want to seem stupid, because
Yeah.
if they couldn't see the clothes, they were either not fit for the job or they were too stupid to see the clothes, right? That's what the
And it took a
scamming
child
leader said.
to call him out and say, hey, this guy is naked. Guys are morons.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's going on here. Everybody is, the commercials that are on TV are just absolutely ludicrous. It can't anymore with you can't do anything. You have to get vaccinated. It's not going to cause you to be not be fertile, to be infertile. It definitely doesn't cause any complications with pregnancies. They said, but how do you know? How do you know? What study was there in the past year of somebody trying to get pregnant? Um, and they couldn't, or they could. And like you were talking about yesterday, the studies itself are wiped out. The studies of people with natural antibodies versus the people with the vaccine.
Right.
They totally
The
wiped
control group. They
out.
wiped out the control group
So
because
how do you know? How do you know any of this? And how are they able? I get kicked off Facebook on a weekly basis. For saying things that are true, but they don't want to hear. How come they can go on TV and assure you that this is perfectly safe when they have no idea?
well, I'm going to say it again. 9/11. I was down at ground zero. You were down at ground zero, and Christy Todd Whitman was the head of the EPA at the time, and she stood there and she said the air is safe to breathe. Now, anybody that was down there could smell it. It was a smell like an electrical fire. It was terrible, and it hung in the air for months and months and months. And our firefighters and the people on the pile were there every day with masks on and digging and trying to find anybody that might have survived. And you can smell it in the air. Do you remember, Jen?
It literally smelled like burnt flesh. It smelled like, no, it did. When you go to the tanning salon and you lay in that bed, your flesh is burning. That's what, when you just get out, that's exactly what it smelled like. It smelled like how you smell when you get out of the tanning bed.
Yeah, it was just a terrible.
That's what it was.
It was a terrible, terrible smell. And she stood there and told us that, it was fine. The air was fine. Government assures you that the air is fine. And now how many hundreds of millions of dollars have we had to pay out to the victims funds, because how many people have gotten sick because the air wasn't fine? And it took years before they figured it out. But once again, it's the government at its best. What did you say yesterday about what the government gives out, Jen?
The government gives you something for free. It's usually definitely not good. It's definitely not good. Nothing is free unless you are an illegal, and then it is. But
well, the government, it isn't free because our tax dollars pay for it, right? And people forget that. All the people that were collecting checks and sitting home, they're like, oh, free money. It's not free money. I mean, yes, they're printing it, but it's not free money. Let me just catch up with some of the comments. Lisa Marie saying she's waiting for her exemption. She's unvaccinated. And Lisa Marie, I think Jen and I both agree that it's your body and you should choose what to do with it, because you not being vaccinated doesn't harm anybody else. You getting vaccinated won't save any lives, because this isn't a vaccine. It's a flu shot. I mean, and that's what this is. It's because you could still get the disease. If it was a vaccine, you wouldn't get the disease, like smallpox, like, measles and mumps and rubella. These diseases were eradicated because the vaccines kept it from spreading to humans. And those vaccines that were developed took years and years and years to develop.
At least 5 years for anything to get FDA approved.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah, and look at smoking. Doctors used to smoke. No one did anything. They said it was perfectly fine. And then how many years did it take to be like, oh, this causes lung cancer?
Yeah, that's right. It was the Surgeon General came out with that in the 60s, I think. Yeah, it causes lung cancer. Just Gina Conroy says Happy New Year, and she agrees with you 100%. Jane Calder says no vaccine or medication is safe until testing has completed, and even medications that have been approved still have numerous side effects that can be detrimental to a person's body. Jane, I agree, and I don't understand this. After the commercials on television for medications all say, check with your physician to see if this
death can cause Yeah. Seizures can cause death, can cause blood clots.
Right. But we don't say that about this. Is all we say is don't check with your physician, just take it and it's perfectly fine. And give it to your baby too. The newest one is this, I can't believe, because I took my mother and my stepfather for their vaccines, and they needed a flu shot and they needed the vaccine and they needed a pneumonia shot. And the doctor said, absolutely not. We're not giving you all of them together. What you do is go get your you go get your booster. They were on their third, so they were getting their booster. Wait a week, and then we'll give you the flu shot, and then come back in a week, give a pneumonia, or a few days later, and we'll give you the pneumonia shot. They didn't want to give them together. I heard the health commissioner under de Blasio telling people that their babies could have the vaccine and the flu shot together. Really? I mean, really? So we don't have consistency amongst our physicians.
How do they know you can?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jen, you bring up a good point. The vaccine is only around for a year. December was the first year. So we, unless there were specific studies about babies conceived, in December of last year till now, which I haven't seen any, I can't say for certain that it does nothing to, to a newborn, or it does nothing to your milk. There's just not enough time. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying that there are some people that will prefer to do something different, and they should have that right to do something different, because whether you get the vaccine or not does not affect somebody else's COVID situation. You can carry COVID, you can get COVID. If you're vaccinated, you can carry COVID, you could get COVID. I've been saying, be tested. These healthcare workers, instead of firing 700 at a time, let them do what they've been doing. It's now almost 2.5 years, right? Let them do what they've been doing with masks and gloves. And if they, get sick, then you only lost one person to, until they're recovered. And the other 699 continue to work, but they just wiped out 700 people. So how about if I'm having a heart attack? How about if I have double pneumonia? How about the patients? You are now 700 people short. How does that make sense?
Well, not even they're not. I mean, I think instead of the vaccine, instead of mandating it, they give them daily tests to the kids at school to take home, do the test. It takes 2 seconds. Half of them are always wrong, but now they want the NYPD to go back to work. They give you a PCR test, but it takes 6 or 7 days to get back. So by the time, if you test negative in those 6 or 7 days, you could have not been feeling yourself, and then you could have gotten COVID between those 6 or 7 days. And now what? And now what do you do? So now you're going back, you're infecting everybody. Yeah. But more so, it's just ridiculous. I can't. I'm so sick of this shit.
Mary, you can curse, and if anybody's
they're looking for any reason to kick me off.
If anybody's offended, well, then you are probably not followers of either Jen or I. But we like to try and be ladylike. Well, I'm not even going to say ladylike. I'm going to get a whole bunch of mail for that. That's, oh my gosh. But yeah. There was a time when we called manners being ladylike, but so we should be mindful of other people's feelings.
Wait, I'm not done. So wait, so when we went, when Jimmy was sick, we went to get I had tested negative already. I went and retested and I was negative, and we went to see if we could get him a fast one. And we went to the pharmacy on Forest Avenue. You walk right in. You don't have to, like at Rosebank, you have to go online. You have to do it through your app. You go in, they give you the thing, and then you wait 15 minutes. We walked in, there was a line. They don't take your name. You get the test. They do it in front of you. And they came, that's it, Jane. They just had his first name. And they came out, they're like, you're positive. So now he was just around everybody in there, and nobody took his name. It's like what are they doing? None of this.
Oh, you mean that they're not like tracking them like a patient?
Well, that's right? What that whole thing was about. They wanted to track, and your phone got tracked, so you can let someone know if you were standing next to somebody. Do I agree with that? No, but if that was their whole plan of what they've been doing, how come this is allowed? It's just like whatever they want to do. And now you
That's
go
right.
back to work after 5 days. And then the CDC was like, yeah, after 5 days, you can go back to work without any testing.
Yeah, but who made that happen? Was it science that made that happen, or was it a call from Delta, the head of Delta, to the CDC saying, I can't fly the planes and people won't be able to get around for the holidays if you keep my people on a 10-day quarantine? Can you cut it down to 5 days?
Well, they only did that for the healthcare workers.
What's that?
They only did it for the healthcare workers.
No, the airline too. Absolutely. They did it for everybody. Now, 5 days after and now for the healthcare workers, if you have no symptoms, you can go to work.
And they get a booster now too for everything, for the COVID shot that doesn't work.
Well, that's Hochul. In New York, it's Hochul. Yeah, but let's think about that for a minute, right? We've been hearing follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Okay, so if scientists are doing scientific tests, then here's my big question, Jen. Maybe you could fill me in. How come we don't have a study, vaccine versus non-vax versus natural antibodies, right? How come we don't have that study going on? Let's see what's going on with these three things. I didn't hear anything about natural antibodies. I have them still, and they're going up and up and up.
Thing out. They had it. They wiped it out.
Well, right. Usually when you have a study,
because they probably saw that it was wrong.
There's a control group. So the people that got the vaccine and then the people that got the placebo, but they have already wiped out the people that got the placebo, and they're insisting that people that natural antibodies also get a vaccine. So they're wiping out those people too. I will never get it so long as I still have that antibodies. I don't care where I can go.
When we went to the super spreader events for NYPD, every single person in the unit got COVID, and they were all fully vaccinated except for one person who was with us, kissing hello, sitting with us, eating, drinking. That one person is the only person in all of that unit that didn't get COVID.
Really? What did that person have COVID already, or
no?
No. So no natural antibodies. Just there's a lot of people like that, Jen. I mean, there are people that I know who have been out and about, shaking hands, kissing, whatever else, never got COVID. Never. And many of them, they must be something in their blood. But why aren't we studying those people? That's what I don't understand. If this disease is so terrible and fatal, why aren't there tons of different studies happening right now to make sure we understand this disease? Instead, it's like a rapid thing. They won't give you therapeutics, like they won't give you hydroxychloroquine. By the way, I found out how to make it. It's really, hydroxychloroquine is just quinine. So, and that makes sense because hydroxychloroquine is used for malaria. And if you get malaria, they tell you to drink quinine. So that quinine is tonic water, right? So the way you do it is you peel oranges and grapefruits, just the peels. You put them in water, just cover them about 3 inches over whatever you put in your pot, and you boil it down for 2 hours. And then you put some sugar in it because it's really bitter. And then you take a teaspoon, depending on your weight. If you're a big person like me, maybe you take a tablespoon. And it actually helps with your COVID symptoms. So it's
so gross. You throw it, you wind up throwing up. You were dead for that.
Well, listen, it's so I understand. I sent the recipe to somebody who has double pneumonia, who went to the hospital locally, and who was sent home with double pneumonia with a prescription for antibiotics, and she feels like crap. And so I gave her the recipe, and I'll check in on her today to see how she feels and if she did the recipe. But others who have done it actually have gotten well. But I don't want to digress. So they took away the therapeutics. The only therapeutics we have are in short supply, right? The what is it called?
Mitochondrial. And they said that is not effective against the Omicron. So they were going to stop. They stopped it in certain hospitals. They stopped giving it.
Well, before it was remdesivir, and I know because I donated my blood with antibodies, my my stuff to the blood bank so that they can make the infusions. But they're not giving us the therapeutics. They're just sending us home. Nothing I could do. I can't tell you how many people I know who have COVID related pneumonia. One guy got nothing, and his wife went crazy and brought him back to the hospital, and they actually put him on an IV drip. So Jen, you talk, and I'm going to read these comments, and I'll interrupt you.
Talk about what?
Well, all right, let's read the comments together. We have Calamari Dan. Happy New Year. Let's get Whitman said the air was safe, and 21 years later they are still dying. Yes, they are still dying. And think about it, how many times they had to put more money into the funds, because how many people are sick.
Your husband got not COPD. What did it? Yeah, COPD.
Well, yeah, COPD. Yes, and he's got breathing issues. I mean, I was down there. We're both on the health registry. Thank God, neither one of us have wound up with lung cancer, but lung cancer is very prevalent. Kathleen O'Donnell. I love when they play with words and say that vaccinations have been approved between the ages of 5 and 15 when they have not been approved by the FDA. They have emergency authorized, not approved. Great point, Kathy. Great point. Lucille remembers the smell down on Ground Zero and 9/11. Marianne, the CDC changed the definition of vaccine back in October from preventing illness to protecting illness. That is a fantastic point, Marianne. I forgot about that. You're very, very smart. Dan Calamari, I took a COVID test a few weeks ago just before Christmas, and I never received my results. Dan, call the wherever you took it, but yes, I have heard that often. Gina Conroy, tracers called and showed up to my house for my daughter. My question to them was, why only my daughter and not the rest of us, or 4 of us had it? It's barbaric. Good point. Absolutely.
How about, my neighbor, who's a teacher in Brooklyn, said that the kids, they brought the at-home tests that they were given, and they put tap water on it in the class, and it turned positive.
Get out.
Because they had seen on TikTok the kids, one woman poured Corona, like the beer, on her test, and it came out positive. So it ended up going viral, and the kids were like, we want to do it. And sure enough.
So that's a science experiment. Now what?
It should be everyone's science experiment. There.
I don't know. Kathleen says the tracking and tracing is awful. They're not just able to keep up. We all had COVID over the holiday week, and I got a track trace call on my 11th day. Gina says that they're all vaccinated and still all of them got COVID. Jamie Ann is helping me. Thank you, Jamie Ann. Of course you would know. Monoclonal antibodies. So that's what it's called. Monoclonal antibodies.
Mitochondrial.
Mitochondrial is with the brain.
And the best is now they came out with an article yesterday in the Health Digest that the shot makes your period severely irregular, but it's okay. So you go through, people who haven't had their period in years are now getting a bust through of it, and it's fine. But it doesn't cause infertility, but it messes with your
because we know that, right?
With your period.
Right. Well, we know that because there's been enough time to study it, right? I mean, it's barely a year. So if anybody got it wouldn't even be a year. You know why? Because the first round of vaccines were only for people that were like 90. Right, they were the super seniors, and they didn't start.
The healthcare workers were able to do it too.
Right, the healthcare workers. Okay, so only healthcare workers and the super seniors were able to get it. They didn't start vaccinating people within childbearing age until somewhere spring. Right. So we're still not. We're just seeing those babies born now. All right. So we have to figure it out. Tony Ann Maraglia says, end it all already. We are done.
What happens if you just identify as being vaccinated? If you could do, why can't you? They can't throw it out of court if you identify as being a man, if you're a woman, or vice versa.
Listen, and I know.
Is there a liberal rule about what you can identify as?
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's why not? I mean, that's what's there's only science for COVID, we have to follow the science. But when it comes to the genders, there's no science. There's not two genders. There's more than two genders. And, science goes out the window with that. So, Jen, we're upside down in the world. We're just upside down. There's no logic. Jamie Ann and I were talking the other day, and I said to her, I don't even know how to act anymore because everything is illogical. Everything is counterintuitive, and going back to the emperor's new clothes, Jen, that's the whole thing that's happening here. Why aren't people going, hey, wait a minute, hey, that doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, I'm not going to follow this because it doesn't make sense? Why aren't more people doing that? I don't know.
Because they're scared. And like I said the other day, in Sweden, there was the toll, what was it, 17 or 20? So as much as the Verrazano is, and we still have ours, but they said, no, we're not paying it. F you. They all ran the toll. And guess what? There's no toll. People are scared, but what are you going to do? So when you're scared, you're just going to sit back, conform, and then it takes a whole new, it morphs into hell.
Well, Tony Ann's asking if we, I think it's Tony Ann. Oh, yeah. Jamie Ann asked if we heard the Rogan podcast. I did, Jamie Ann, but I think everybody should. He had the guy, I think this is the one you're talking about, the guy who actually created the PCR or the basis for the vaccine, because like the head changes and you need but you need the stem of the vaccine to remain the same.
I hope he explained that a lot better than you just did.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so the vaccine is there's a basis. It's like the root of the vaccine for a variety of different variants. And anyway, the guy that created the root of the vaccine years ago was actually saying how this vaccine wasn't created correctly, and so it's never going to work. And I think Twitter shut him down, Facebook, everybody shut him down. Oh, he got taken off of YouTube. He got taken off of YouTube for saying that. And he's the scientist that created this thing. So, Jamie Ann, if I was right with what you're talking about, then please let me know.
If the vaccine can't protect you towards all the variants, then how come the tests can test for, like all these tests were made during the first and the second round of variants. So now this is the third one that nothing protects against. So then how do these tests, how are they right?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, you're trying to use logic. It's illogical. There's nothing logical.
To walk around like a moron forever.
Stop trying to sound smart, because when you're trying to be smart and you use logic, the stuff that we were taught our whole life, it's all out the window now. It's like Common Core math, all out the window. Regina Tenori, I identify as thin, vaccinated, and rich.
Oh, perfect. See,
me too. Felicia DeFee says hi Felicia. Oh, I love that. Hi Felicia, better than bye Felicia, right? Gina says, I have to say I agree. I was completely finished with menopause for years. 3 months after my second vaccine, I had a complete breakthrough. Wound up having to have surgery. I never connected the dots. Thanks for enlightening me. Holy crap.
Oof.
Paul Arthur Rodan says they're making it up as they go. I agree. Arthur, I agree with you. I'm sorry, Jen.
No, it's just fly by night rules. That's it.
Well, again, it's like people are being afraid to disagree. And Jen, you and I were talking, which led to us, hopping on this podcast, or for years, the Catholic Church and everybody and the scribes believed that the earth was flat. And when Galileo came along and said that the earth was round and tried to prove it, and that the earth rotated around the sun, the Catholic Church excommunicated him. Now, why was it the church? Because years ago, the church, and maybe even now, I don't know, the church influenced the kings, right? All the scribes, all the wise people belonged to the church. They were monks, or they were priests in the church, and they were educated. They had all the books. They wrote all the books. So of course, that's where all the IQs were. So they excommunicated him, and it wasn't until hundreds of years later that they allowed him to go back to being part of the Catholic Church. Think about that. So if you can't, if he didn't oppose what everybody's thinking was, we'd never know his real residence.
I have my blood pressure pills holding up my phone.
This is called snowed in, not plowed. We're not drunk. Yeah, I assure you. Anyway, that's why we have to. Somebody has to stand up and say, "Look, the emperor has no clothes. This doesn't make sense." We all took science in school. We all, use logic in our daily lives. It's illogical. And if I hear one more newscaster, especially those on CNN, which, by the way, thank God their ratings are in the toilet. I don't know how they're ever going to be able to steal another election because their ratings are in the toilet. Nobody's watching them anymore. And Chris Cuomo's off the air, and Andrew Cuomo is testifying to try and save his own ass right now. So. Kim Salvo, happy New Year's, ladies. Following science fiction. That's right, science fiction. I like to call it weird science, but science fiction is a good one, Kim. I love it. Marianne, why are there no studies on natural immunity? Early on, Dr. Fauci would speak about herd immunity. Now, herd immunity is never mentioned. Agreed.
They don't make money off of herd immunity. Just like, prostitution is not legal because the government doesn't make money off of it. Just like, alcohol is legal and cigarettes are legal because they get taxed the shit out of each other and the government makes money. But weed is legal now. They're making money off of that. That's why the hydrochloroquine. It's only
hydroxychloroquine.
It's only $1 something.
No, it's a penny.
Well, there you go. It's even better.
Because it's orange peels and grapefruit peels boiled in water with a little sugar.
And what was the other thing I took? The farm animal drug Kinga gave me that cured me.
Oh, the ivermectin. That's right. Jen took ivermectin, everybody, and
they didn't from Serbia.
but it was the only thing that helped her, and so
they give it to you in other states. You can get up to 3 milligrams.
Yeah. Same thing with hydroxychloroquine. Only in New York you can't get hydroxychloroquine. Only in New York. That's crazy. Two doses cured me completely, as you well know. Your father did doxycycline, and again, doxycycline. It's a broad spectrum antibiotic, so it costs a couple of pennies. They're not making any money, but the vaccines cost $150 a shot between the shot and administering the shot. So now we're up to 3. Soon it's going to be, you need one once a month. I mean, really, can somebody tell me, once we come up with the second booster, are we still going to believe that this vaccine makes sense?
Well, no. Now Pfizer probably made a deal with the devil because they're getting the pill that's coming out.
Yeah, right. That's right. I forgot Pfizer's got a pill. So that'd be off the charts expensive. Happy New Year's, ladies. I love what you stand for in this country. Sharon Christian. Thank you, Sharon. We need more of you and we need more of us, and especially amongst women. And I'm not playing that card, but it's the truth. Women are kind of wholly owned by the Democrat Party. Women are usually registered Democrats and they vote Democrat. We need conservative women to step up and start speaking their mind, because I believe the only way to change this country is for the conservative-minded women to come out and vote. And that means voting in the district attorney's race as well. This year is a gubernatorial race in New York. Everybody has to come out to vote. I love Lee Zeldin, but Andrew Giuliani is running, and so is Rob Astorino. But I like Lee Zeldin. I think he's my pick, and I know they'll all work it out. But we have 3 really good candidates running. You also have to be able to stay on the line and vote for the Attorney General, because Tish James is the Attorney General, and I applaud her for getting rid of Cuomo, but she should have got rid of Cuomo for killing the people in the nursing homes. inclusive of, the sexual problems, but that's the real problem, was killing people in the nursing homes. And then we also have comptroller up, right now Dinopoly is the comptroller. So we got to bring some balance. So in New York, get out to vote. Don't say, oh, it's not president, I'm not going to vote. You got to get out, and the conservative women have to get out.
Get all your relatives too and get them out to vote.
Yeah, that's right. When you go out to vote, make it a family affair. Bring your relatives. Oh, and if your neighbor's older,
dead relatives.
What?
Nothing.
Bring your conservative relatives. Dead relatives. No, that's only if you're voting Democrat. You could bring the dead relatives. Conservatives don't do that. Right, go and get your neighbor. Again, like-minded people.
Don't worry, you'll be able to vote online soon.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, though. That you vote online, and what happens?
Listen, they should. I don't understand why you don't have to put your finger, like your fingerprint, or if you don't have fingers, your toe, like you have to do to get into your Apple computer. You put your finger on the button, and it turns your computer on. There should be absolutely no reason that you don't need some kind of identification that is you can't tamper with it to vote.
Yeah.
If it's one of the biggest privileges in the country, then
it is our greatest privilege.
So they don't even check your signature card. But there aren't even signature cards anymore.
Because kids don't know how to write script, cursive.
They don't check anything. Nothing. You can go from place to place, which I'm sure place to place to place to place, and just vote under everybody's name. And
thankfully, it was defeated same-day voter registration, which would have really undermined New York, especially in presidential primaries.
Well, Adams is doing that. He's also trying to veto the 30-day. If you're under 30 days, you not vote.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the rest of these comments because we're going to sew it up. Calamari Dan wants to know, why do you think women greatly lean left? I have the answer, but Jen, you answer. Why do you think women lean left?
Why they lean left? I think, honestly, I think just because the conservative side and the Republican side were mostly men. I think that, that it was more of a boys' game, so they went the opposite direction. But you know better than me. That was
no. There's no real. There's only our opinion. There's no science on this one.
Yeah. Everyone believe what I say, because that's exactly what it is. No, I think that's why.
I just want to build on that. I think that the Democrats do a better job of telling people that they are victims and that they are fighting for the victims. So women, right, because they didn't make as much money as men, because they didn't have as many rights as men, African Americans, new immigrants, the Democrats swooped in and registered them as Democrats, and they keep them perpetual victims. They tell them their life is terrible, and that that the big bad government and us entitled white people are destroying their lives. They now think about it, especially immigrants. They came to America to leave behind a terrible, terrible life. And the Democrats somehow have gotten hold of them and got them to believe that even America is bad for them. Now, I believe that our biggest problem with why, especially people who come to this country seeking asylum, our problem as Republicans is that we haven't learned to communicate with new immigrant population. And if we did, we'd see that we have simpatico in what we believe in. But women, it's the victimization. The Democrats are good at convincing people that they're victims, and that this country is they have to fight because they don't have as many rights as white heterosexual males.
And you get a giant vagina hat when you sign up.
a giant pussy hat. Yeah, isn't that what it's called? All right. Why do you think get the Democrats out of office, please? Hey, listen, I tried. I did it. I was out there. Dan Calamari was with me, and Jamie was with me, and Jen was with me, and we worked hard for a year to try and get elected to office. I didn't get elected, but a Republican did get elected. So I'm very happy. Vito Fisella is a longtime conservative Republican. And so he's in office now. But the only way to get the Democrats out of office is for you guys to come out and help me and Jen and us as we go around to other counties trying to, find like-minded individuals
I'll
to.
sign up and volunteer for Tina's campaign if she.
Yeah, Tina 40 for Congress is the new website, I think.
Oh, don't.
Maybe look, follow her on Facebook. But you listen, if you want to become Elephant in the Room, is the new. Well, it's not new. It's a club that we belong to, and we're going to go around and we're going to help campaigns like Dr. Oz and Tina and other congressional campaigns. And there's a couple in New Jersey. So look for, I think it's elephantintheroom.nyc. Sign up there for the email list, and we'll send you out the meeting notices there, and you can get information. So you don't have to be a Republican either. We have Democrats, we have independents, we have blanks. We have people from all walks of life, conservative, but the one thing is we're all conservative minded thinkers. So you don't have to be a registered Republican to be a part of the club. As a matter of fact, there's
Be
more.
vaccinated, and you have to bring your card.
No, you don't.
I'm kidding.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh. No, we don't do that. Anybody who saw that, don't.
That's a joke.
All right. We need identification for a restaurant, but not for voting. That's right. And now, you have Chuck Schumer and the Voting Rights Act and the filibuster and all that crap going on in the Senate. And, so what do you think they're up to? Bait and switch. Don't trust anybody that's been in government for that amount of time. I'm sorry. 8 years, you should be out. That's it. Dems can kiss my fat ass. Listen, I think first of all, you should identify as thin, Gina, to make yourself happy, if that's what if you'd like to, or if you're curvy, then you can have that. And yeah, they could kiss your ass. Regina Tenori, I'm cat suitcase. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Don't give up. You've had my vote in the future. Thanks, Marianne. I think I'm done. Unless the borough president comes up again for some reason, I'm done. That's the only seat that I would have run for because I know I'm qualified for it. I don't want to be a politician. I like doing this so much more, and I like to be able to speak my mind. So I don't need to. I don't need to be elected to office to get things done. I've been doing it for 30 years. All right, we're over. It's 4:32.
Oh, good. I have to pee.
Okay, Jen, it was great being snowed in with you and Kevin, Regina, Marianne, Gina, Jamie, everybody who signed in. Danny, thanks for being a part of this. And if you like what you see, just go on our Facebook pages and tell us you want more, and maybe we could do it again next Friday. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.